We're now going to actually move into looking at the basic to complex, the designs and ideas behind the squeeze page templates, and points you might want to consider when putting together and constructing your pages. So the thing to consider when you're actually making a squeeze page is, whilst we've mentioned already that there are very different types of squeeze pages, from very simple right up to extremely complicated, where there's video, maybe audio, lots of graphics and images, maybe even lots of information. Depending upon the market that you're in and what it is you're trying to do, keeping it very simple and allow the words to do the talking on your page is often enough. You can still be very effective with your squeeze pages if you're using a powerful formula on your site which will attract the people to actually opting in and taking part in that transaction. So simple formats allowing the words to do the talking on the page, whether those words be in a video format or actually written words or even audio, is entirely up to you. One thing I will say is, if you are going to use audio on your page, you really do want to actually back that up. So as we say here, should you use audio? Well, audio is a great medium and it's a good way of communicating with the actual audience that are on your site. But there's a few things you might want to consider. First of all is, when you're actually thinking about planning your site and you're putting it together, who actually is your target market? Do they actually want to just read something on the page? Are they more likely to react to audio? Or are they going to prefer video? The way to find out all of these things is to actually test, and I'd recommend that you always do that. If you are going to use audio on your website, I would recommend that you back that up with powerful headlines, benefits and actual information, written information on a page as well. The reason for that is it's very easy quite often for people to be distracted. If an audio is playing, sometimes they can then get sort of drifted away, start looking and doing other things. Whereas if it's written and it's powerful on the page as well, there's something for their eye to be drawn to, not just an audio. So I would never recommend that you have maybe just a headline and then nothing else and just an audio that plays, because it sometimes might not deliver the right message. You want to back that up with well written text on the page as well. Does video make a difference? Well, it's proven in most cases now that video is starting to have more of a powerful impact on squeeze pages than the standard text. I mentioned one in one of the earlier videos called W Dating, whereby Eben Pagan here used to have a very basic opt-in page that was a written headline with a sub-headline, a few features and benefits, a call to action, and that was pretty much it. Now you've got very well highlighted here opt-in box with a message of its free dating advice, using the VeriSign now as well to give it some kind of authenticity stamp that it's actually got something worthwhile, stamp mark if you like, with the VeriSign image. But here we have the video, and again you'll see, even though there's video on the page, we still have a powerful headline. So you'll probably, when you come to this page, you might be drawn over here on the left hand side sometimes, but because of the nature of the video, it's likely you'll home straight in on the video or the headline and then the video, or the video then the headline. That tends to be how you're drawn to the page. So Eben will do, or as he's called in this, David D'Angelo, he'll do all the speaking, explaining about the site, which will then encourage people to opt in here, and the headline helps back that up. And then there's more if people feel they need to know more before handing over the transaction of their name and email. There's a whole letter or a few points here that back up the conversation that takes place in this video. The great thing about video marketing is the fact that, as you can see on this page here, something very simple. We've got a call to action, subscribe now. We know straight away from the headline exactly what it is. And obviously you're going to pre-sell to a point when you're sending people to this page. You won't send them here blind. They won't come to this page not knowing why they're coming to this site in the first place. And then the video does a lot of the selling for you, for the reason why they want to put their name and email in here to make that transaction complete. Something that's also becoming more and more common now is these little videos here that actually appear almost like walk-ons, where they actually come on your site and they'll follow up and down the page and they actually talk to you. This one's not too bad, but with the colour scheme here, you almost get lost. If it wasn't for the fact the movement was there and they were talking to you, you might actually miss this one, and wonder where the audio is coming from. but still, it's, you know, the site is laid out, but it's very busy. There's lots of information in here, but because of the nature of the actual subject material, this is still very powerful. We're using a lot of credibility here of, you know, where you might have seen this information before. There's guarantees on here, very factual information. But again, staying above the fold, we're going for the opt-in here. Try it risk-free, or risky-free as they call it here. But as you can see, video is a very powerful medium. If your market is going to have good access to the internet, you know from the demographics that people are going to have good general bandwidth, good access to the internet, and not a problem with watching video, then definitely use video in your squeeze pages, because it's starting to be shown through testing that you get a better response rate and a better opt-in through it as well. If you are a target market where the people who are more likely to be using or looking at your sites are either in a dial-up area, or if they're going to be perhaps during their work time, so they're at work, that's another critical thing to consider, is the time of day when people are most likely hitting your site. Because if they're actually at work, audio and video could either cause problems if they've got speakers, or they won't either see or hear very well, so you need to have those words as well again. So just think about things like that when you're putting together design, and consider the construction of your web page, and more importantly that squeeze page. So what is the basic formula to a page design? Now I'm going to show you something that's not very attractive. It's just a very basic outline of how an initial squeeze page would have been constructed, and give you some idea of what you need to consider on the page.